straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
Hello, and welcome to the Everything Noob Minicast. My name is Dreadlow, and I thank you for joining me. We are on a 30-day or so vacation time, so we've decided to put together this minicast so that we can share with the community some of the things that we find on the internet, some of the things we hear. And so, if you've watched last week's minicast with Vortak, he had some interesting things to talk about, and I hope to bring you with something that might be a little interesting for you as well. I've talked in the past about a company called OnLive.com, and what they do is it's a streaming service where you're able to go to their website, sign up, and they have a plethora of video games to choose from. You can rent the service or you can purchase the games, and they stay on their hardware, and you play them from their hardware, and it's streamed over your internet. And then you're supposed to be lag-free, be able to play these games without any issues. It worked quite well if you had really good internet. If you had kind of sucky internet, it wasn't so good. Well, back in April, they were bought out by Sony, and Sony hasn't done anything with them yet, and they've since closed the service down. So you're unable to log in and play any games through their service. You didn't have the opportunity to stream these games, especially if you had really good internet. You could stream these games and be able to play some pretty high-end games that you couldn't play on your rig because it was not compatible with the games that you wanted to play. Well, a company called Leap Computing has come out with something here which is very similar. What's so cool about Leap Computing is you play your games. So if you've got games on your computer, or you bought in games, or you have a Steam account, you log into their service. It's basically a desktop using Windows 8.1, which will probably be upgraded to Windows 10 when it comes out. And you can install games directly to their service and be able to play them from their hardware and stream it onto your computer. And they're claiming that you only need a 3 megabit per second internet to be able to do this at 1080p, which is really good resolution. I mean, I can't even play 1080p on my computer. So it's something that I think is going to be a future here for gaming. But it's not just that. It's so cool because they have a lower monthly rate for people who just want to use a computer. Using it anywhere. Anytime they log in from even a cell phone, they're able to log into a Windows desktop and be able to do whatever they need to do, whether it be Microsoft Office, if they're doing programming, or whatever they're doing, they can do it. So I think this is a really cool service. I hope it picks up. It's at leapcomputing.com. We'll probably have that in the show notes, and you can check it out. Right now, it's kind of in a beta phase. I'm not sure exactly. They don't call it beta, but you can pre-order the service at half price. So if you go onto their website, you can go ahead and pre-order that service, and when it does get released, that's the price you pay for the rest of your life, basically, for the rest of the time that you use their service. After that, once they come out of release, obviously everything's going to be full price. But half price is pretty good, and some of these prices, just a normal desktop computer through their service would be $9.99 a month. With your gaming setup would be $29.99 a month, and that's with an NVIDIA Titan and 16 gigabytes of memory, and you've got, I'm not sure exactly what the processor is, but it's the top tier. All of it's the top tier, and if anything new comes out, they'll upgrade their equipment, and that would allow you to play anything. I don't care what it is. It could be the most highest high-end game that you can think of. It'll be able to be played on this. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping that it comes out soon. I'm not sure when they're going to release this, but it's coming soon. So definitely look forward to that. But on a side note here, when it comes to games that we own, some of us own too many. I know for me, I've got a Steam account and I've got 200 games on my Steam account. I've yet to install half of them, maybe even more. I mean, there's games on there I have never even installed. I've bought them and I never installed them, and that's mainly because of summer sales and things like that. You see a game that you know you might want to play, and it's just too good of a price to pass, and so you install it, or you buy it and you say, oh, I'm going to install it later. Well, there's a service out there, or it's actually a website that you can go to, and what it does is it actually calculates how long it would take you to complete your whole Steam library, every game. How long it would take you to, like a game that would have a storyline or whatever, to get to the end of this game, how long it would take you. But they take your whole Steam library and they calculate this and how long it would actually take you in your lifetime to be able to complete every game that you own. And I did it myself, and I was surprised at the results, because I'm thinking that it's going to take years for me to actually play every single game and complete every single game all the way through. But when I did it, it says 7,111 hours remaining, meaning it would take me that long to complete the games that I have in my library. That I guess comes to 9 months, 3 weeks, 1 day, and 7 hours to complete those games. So if you want to check that out, you can see that at howlongtobeatsteam.com, and it gives you all kinds of little graphs, playtime by genre, playtime by Metacritic score, playtime by release date, playtime by type, and so forth and so on. And it lists all your games and how long estimated it would take to play each game to completion. Some really cool information here that I find very interesting, because I know for me, I was curious myself, because I had so many games I never installed. So I thought it was kind of fun. But now let's look and see what our community has to say with regards to last week's question, which was, so what is your favorite classical game of all time? And Redbird here says Dragon Warrior 3. Dragon Warrior 3 is basically a top-down like RPG type game, and it was definitely a classic. It was one of those games that it's obvious that the actual franchise was successful, because they made a Dragon Warrior 3, so they went from 1, 2, and 3, so it was obviously something that was successful for them, so they decided to continue. Though I never really played Dragon Warrior 3, I do know that it had some features in there that some of your other RPG type games didn't quite have, or did, but it wasn't as in depth as this. This one here is really cool, because of the when you talk to people, you get clues and stuff that lead you to other areas and other things to do, and it's kind of like the intro to questing type thing, I think. But it was just a really cool game, really cool storyline, and a lot of fun for people to play. Now Martin here, he says, my favorite classic video game is, well, really, I didn't never play any old classical games. Well, thank you for that, Martin. I'm sure that you can find some on the internet somewhere that you can fool around with. Beto says, does Saints Row 2 count as a classic game? Anyway, Saints Row 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. That's a good game. I really do like Saints Row, because it kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto in a sense, but you know, there's a different kind of a story to it, and it's very comical the way they put it together. I like it too. If not, I'd say Mario World for the Nintendo Game Boy Color. I love that game so much. I think any Mario game deserves its, top rank as far as the best classic games of all time. Because I grew up with Super Mario Brothers, and that was one of my favorite games. It was unique to what a lot of games out there were. It it was one of those games that you just could not stop playing. It was just a lot of fun. And you died, you know, after your 3 lives are up, that's it. You'd have to start all over again. And that was frustrating, but it made you learn the game. That was definitely a fun game. Nader Gamers, or Nader Games is his name. He says, honestly, it's probably Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. It's the second in the Elder Scrolls series, and I think that it really paved the way for what we appreciate now. I know there were open world games before it, but I feel that Daggerfall did it the best. It's one of the first games I remember playing that let me ride a horse in first person. That's right. Yep. That was true. I don't even think there was any games out there that allowed you to do that, but Daggerfall did, and it was interesting because from Arena, they completely reinvented it's basically the same game, but what they did is they used a newer engine, a different engine for it, and they were able to. I believe that this was probably the setup for what we got today. All the Elder Scrolls, I think, follow this kind of pattern, although the UI kind of changes and stuff. But you've got a lot of things in that game that the Arena didn't have. It was a real wide open world. You're able to go and steal stuff from other people, kind of like you do in today's games. You were able to join a thieves guild. This is the stuff that they kind of introduced in this game. And it's interesting because it wasn't long after Arena that they put this out. And it was a big step up. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Daggerfall was definitely a good game. Flowlance, Mega Man 2 for the NES. I've never played Mega Man 2. I think I've seen Mega Man, but I've never played Mega Man 2. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like on the NES. I'm sure it was pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of the old Duke Nukem, which was a side-scroll game. Not Duke Nukem 3D. This was the original Duke Nukem, which is a side-scroll game, and you went through and killed enemies and things like that. But Mega Man, I know Mega Man was definitely a speedy game. It was something that you would get through real quick, or you try to get through real quick each phase of it. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Mega Man 2 definitely fits the classic, one of the best classic games. Euro Substance says a classic would be a Gundam game for PS2 called Gundam Journey to Jabiru that had some nice sense of realism in that weighted arcade sense with the story. Post-game allowed you to have fun by allowing you to unlock and pilot other mobile units within it, while even allowing you to be overly proud of your accomplishments in the 2 game modes, plus gallery area. This was later reviewed in Gundam Battlefield Records 0081 for PS3 that ended up being stuck in Japan, forcing the world to know Gundam as a pile of bleep. Okay. And that was... I've never played any of those games. So as far as the Gundam series, I'm not sure exactly what those are. But that's an interesting answer there from Euro Substance. Thank you for sharing that. Next week's question: what game have you been the most addicted to ever? And that is something that I am going to have to think about, because I've been addicted to quite a few games. And I would definitely have to think about that one for a while. But check that out. Go to our website, everythingnoob.com. You can check that out. You can see all the answered questions in the forums, and you can also leave the answer to the question in the comments in the YouTube video, or you can give us a call. We have our own phone line there that you can call us and give us an answer that way if you like. However you'd like to do it. The question is posed to you: what game have you ever been most addicted to ever? Well, that's it for the show. I hope that this was informative for you, and thank you for joining me. Please subscribe, to the YouTube channel. Check out our website, everythingnoob.com, and keep on listening.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.